And welcome to Literary Hype. I am Stephanie, your literary hype woman, and today's author conversation allows me to do one of my favorite things with this channel, and that is introduce you to a debut author. Today's debut author is one that I met back at Emerald City Comic Con, so if you saw my vlog, that narrows it down a little bit. So she was giving out signed copies of her upcoming YA thriller, and then I ran into her at YALLWest and we got to sit down and have a conversation on camera, so you get to be part of all the fun. I'm talking about Lily Meade. Her book is called The Shadow Sister. This is a YA thriller, and there's a lot to this, so you might have some questions, but for now, let's have a conversation with Lily Meade. So we're at YALLWest. Your book isn't even out yet, and this is like the second event I've been at with you. What's it like to kind of be out there with the readers before they've really had a chance to dive into your book?
An absolute honor, pretty much. I was not expecting to be invited to YALLWest as a debut. It's very much an, like, I can't just repeat honor. It is so amazing to be here. I like to call this like the book Coachella because everybody is so passionate and there's just so many people here. And they're all very serious about how much they love literature and stories and authors. So it's been just incredible to meet readers and to see other authors that I know, and I can't believe I've been blessed with these opportunities.
What is the vibe you're getting so far from meeting the readers?
I've been really surprised by how excited people are for The Shadow Sister. There are so many amazing, incredible authors here. People that I am surprised even like know my name. And people are choosing to come see me even when they're up against like these other big names. So it is very exciting and intimidating. I keep saying, I hope you enjoy the book, and I really, really do.
I mean, it is a very entertaining book.
Yeah.
But like, so as a debut, how do you avoid getting in your head seeing these other authors with long lines when it's like it's your first go? How do you keep your headspace level while you're out doing these things?
My lines have been pretty long, which has been crazy. But mostly I just focus on the person in front of me. I want them to feel like they've had a genuine like moment and connection, and I want to have a genuine moment and connection. So I just try not to compare and contrast. And I feel like if I'm ever blessed enough to have like super long lines, I will miss a part of like this intimacy of being able to have more one-on-one time. Not that I don't want to meet a whole bunch of people, but I just genuinely love meeting readers and hearing what makes them excited about books, why they're excited about my book, what they want to do in general. I just like meeting people.
So your book is Shadow Sister, and it's coming out soon.
Yes, June 27th.
Introduce us, for those who haven't heard about this book, what it's about.
Okay.
Without spoilers.
Okay. Am I allowed to say the B word?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's in the first sentence of your book.
I know.
Which is a great first sentence. I was going to ask about that too.
Right.
So
Okay.
we'll come back to that.
All right. So my book is about two sisters who do not get along. The opening line of the book is, "My sister is a bitch, but that doesn't mean I want her dead." So that kind of gets across how the sisters feel about each other. But then one of them goes missing, and when she returns from her disappearance, she's changed in ways that trauma alone can't explain. It's a spooky thriller. But yeah, that's why I asked if I could say bitch, because it's literally the fifth word of my book. I really didn't think that they would allow me to keep it in, but everybody really, really loves it.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask about the process on that first line, because first lines are so important, and that one is so eye-catching. It draws you in immediately. What kind of process did you go through with crafting that first line, or was it just something that flew off?
Yeah, it was the first thing that came to me from Casey's point of view. I think it really summarizes Casey's character. She does not like her sister, but she does not want anything horrible to happen to her. And I felt like it was good because it immediately makes you ask questions. Like, just sets off a cascade of dominoes, which is what a good first line should do. But I'm a little worried about how much people like it, because everybody loves it so much that I'm like, how am I going to top it?
I immediately highlighted it because it's just like, this is such a great first line. You're such a bubbly personality, and Sutton is very much so not. She's kind of not nice at all.
Neither Casey and Sutton are both spoiled little brats.
They really are. Okay, yes, they really are. It was like the first section that you read from Sutton's point of view, I was like, can I smack you? So what was it like for you, as someone who is so friendly and outgoing and bubbly, to write someone who is so snarky?
Well, I am very, very sarcastic, very snarky in person. And I don't have any sisters, but I do have brothers, and my brothers would very much see me in both Sutton and Casey. Over the course of the book, I do like to show that they are more than just like the shallow or rude parts of themselves that come off at the beginning. But that's a funny thing. Like, I am a very bubbly, positive, excited person, and I think people would assume that I write romantic comedies, but I write really dark, twisty books. I think it's just because I like working through my trauma through my writing, so I can be happy and excited to meet people because I put all the dark stuff on the page.
Do you feel like you know that you're working through trauma when you're writing, or is it something you notice when you look back?
Oh, it's absolutely intentional. I like to say that I like to write about real world issues through an extraordinary lens. So, I mean, you can't solve poverty or racism in real life, but you can create a larger than life allegory about it, and you can defeat that. So.
Yes, and you do touch on slavery in this, and voodoo and stuff like that. What kind of research did you do into those kind of elements to make sure that you were really staying true to the essence?
A lot of it I knew intimately, because you can't grow up as a black person in America and not know these innate facts, especially in terms of how they affected your ancestors and how they influence your current lot in life, which is an important part of the Shadow Sister. I actually didn't want to be too detailed on the hoodoo stuff, because I felt like it was very personal, and I didn't want to say that there was any specific sort of way.
I still have 100 pages to go because my phone died. So I still have some things.
So you're gonna have a whole bunch of questions after this interview.
Yes,
you're gonna set up another interview.
There's gonna be some unresolved moments in this.
Yeah.
But it is so captivating of a story. As I started this yesterday. Okay. After I started this yesterday, we booked the interview 2 days ago, and
and you already only have 100 pages left. Wow.
Yes, and that's with not having time. So this story really centers on the relationship between these two sisters. What kind of experience did you pull from having brothers that you kind of worked into this story?
I have a lot of intimate female friendships, so I feel like I already have some sisters. I definitely pulled all of the sibling relationships, sibling rivalry parts from my real life relationship with my brothers. I feel like a lot of those are universal. You can really be annoyed or even very much dislike your sibling. I used to say, I love you, but I don't like you.
Love and like are very different things.
Yes. But there's also this thing. The original working title was "No One Can Hurt You But Me," because that's how you feel about your siblings. You're allowed to ruin their day. You're allowed to insult them. You're allowed to hurt them. No one else is. And I just feel like that's universal, despite the gender things. And the gender things, I even that a part of why Sutton and Casey started to drift apart was Sutton growing older and feeling like she needed to be cooler in school, and she didn't want to hang out with a younger sibling. That's not something that's just boys and girls.
It's very, very true.
Yeah.
the familiar relationships. So even with Casey and Sutton's different relationships with their dad, with their mom, with their grandma, what do you hope people take away from your book by seeing these different kind of interactions within their families?
That even if they don't have a good relationship with their sibling currently, and even if like maybe one of you guys is trying harder than the other at this time, that like your family is always your family, and if you are willing to put the effort in, they will. It is like one of the best gifts that we're given. I personally did not get along with my brother who was closest in age until we were both in like our 20s, outside of like the teen relationship era. But I feel like if you can, while you're young, mend some broken bonds and be closer during that time, it can be so valuable.
It's really true. Like,
yeah,
it's so hard being with siblings when you're young.
Yeah.
Like, I did not get along with my siblings when I was young, and now we're all like traveling and going to stuff together. So it's kind of like that hope for teenagers that, your relationship can get better.
Yeah.
How important is it for you to show teens that relationship can change?
I think it's really important because I feel like even in a house full of siblings, you can feel really isolated and alone. And you can also not know how to patch like these cracks in your relationship. But you also, like, I don't feel like a lot of books talk about sibling relationships. I get a lot of comments, people saying that they found it like refreshing that the book wasn't so focused on romance and was more focused on the sibling relationship. It is like, these are like the first and potentially longest lasting friendships you'll ever have. And it's difficult because you know each other so intimately in ways that other people will never know you, that it's hard to get past your grudges. But I really feel like it's worth it.
It really is, like, looking back.
Yeah.
I agree. So you are a booktuber as well.
Yeah.
What has the booktube community been like for you as you've taken this journey into publishing yourself?
Well, I always started out talking about my writing process. I didn't post many book reviews. I'd only post reviews where, like, I was like, I wholeheartedly recommend this because I knew that my main goal was to use my platform to help build my author career. But what I've really liked is being able to share my journey and be honest and transparent. And I feel like that has helped me a lot. I feel like that's one of the things people like about me is that I am willing to be honest, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it doesn't shed me in the most like glamorous, like, because I feel like a lot of social media is like, look at how amazing my life is. Like, Instagram is my least favorite social media app because you have to be pretty well off to have the best aesthetic. And I like talking about things that excite me, and I feel like I'm good on video because I get excited and I am gesture, and I think people just like to see people happy.
Yes, the realism, it's really hard to fake it for video.
Yes.
Like, video, you can see the reality more. Like, yes,
Yes.
some people are great actors.
Yes.
But you can still see the reality in eyes.
Yes,
especially on YouTube.
I think that's one of the reasons it's worked for me, is because people can see that I'm being genuine.
Yes. So this book has so much tension and suspense. What kind of process was it like for you to craft something like that? Like, did you do research into missing persons or the trauma of that, or like what kind of process was it to build this suspenseful story?
I love true crime. The story was actually inspired by a true crime story from like over 100 years ago. So I love mysteries. I love questions that lead to more questions. And I'm also just like a deeply curious person. I think like the most difficult thing is that a lot of it is set at their home, and it's very difficult to make like somebody's home like a foreign or unsettling place. So I hope I did okay.
I mean, it just sucks you in so well. So I am here for it 100%. Like, I love this book. And I'm not even done with it, and I love it. I might change my mind. Like, it's going to take a lot to change my mind at the end.
Yeah,
Like, it would have to completely fall apart for me to change my mind. Like, this makes absolutely no sense.
well, who knows? You won't post this if you.
I mean,
or you'll add an addendum. You'll be like, actually, everything she says is a lie. You shouldn't get this book.
This is current Stephanie looking back at past Stephanie, and she made some terrible life decisions. No.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Your book has a great cover.
Yes.
Which you have been playing up with your outfits as you promote this, with the flowers and the butterflies. Did you have any input into the cover?
I did. My first ever call with my editor was after she'd bought my book. And so that was the first time I got to talk to her about any of the process or anything about the book. And after I sent her some emails to some things that reminded me of the book, including an art print that I actually didn't own because I couldn't afford it, but that reminded me of my book. And I wasn't like asking her to pick that artist for the cover. I just loved my book and she loved my book, and this reminded me of my book. And then 4 months later, she emailed me and she said, "We've picked your cover artist. Might seem familiar." And they'd hired the artist that I'd recommended, which felt so cool because it's my book about Black girls. I'm a Black woman and the artist was a Black woman. And so it's a beautiful cover, and they consulted me for the idea. They included all the plants on the cover are either representative of inside the book or they're local plants to the Pacific Northwest where the book is set. And they asked me about the cover model to make sure that she was accurate to my vision of my characters. And like even small things like lighting choices and some slight color choices. When I gave like constructive criticism, they listened, and I was like, this is crazy, this is publishing, you're not supposed to listen to me.
I mean, and a lot of authors don't get a say in it, so that's wild that you got that much input on it.
I really didn't expect it, especially as a debut, but it is just it's breathtaking.
It is. I'm
so
beautiful
grateful.
Cover. Just check it out, people.
Yeah, even if you hate the book inside, the cover's pretty.
I'm sure. I mean, there's always the trolls that hate on things.
Oh yeah, nobody's gonna love it,
but
I feel like not everybody is gonna love it.
I feel like a good chunk of people will love this book.
Hopefully.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
It's just so great to be here. If you have an opportunity to go to a book event in your area, go. Like, even if you're nervous about it, even if you think you can't convince any of your friends or your family to come with you and you'll be going alone, it's worth it to go alone. It's fun to meet people.
I'm here alone. Yeah. So it's worth it.
I've come alone many times, and now I have friends that I can hang out with when I'm here.
So the last question that I always ask is the most fun question, because this is Literary Hype. What books are you hyped about right now?
This Delicious Death by Kayla Cottingham just came out last week, and so did The Self-Same Metal by Brittany Ann Williams, who is also here.
Yes.
And
looking so good in her hot pink dress.
Yes. And I've been spending all day with Alexandra Bracken, whose book Silver in the Bone has been on the bestseller list for like the past 3 weeks for good reason. So you should check that out. So those are 3 books that I'm hyped for.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us here at YALLWest.
Thank you for interviewing me, taking time out of your busy day to talk to me. Thank you.
Yay, book nerds. Thanks again to Lily for hanging out with me at YALLWest. We had such a good time talking about her book. She is so much fun. She's an incredibly bubbly and fun person just to be around. So if you ever get the chance to see her at an event, definitely take it. But in the meantime, if you want to get your hands on a copy of The Shadow Sister, those links are down below, as well as where to find her on social media. And while you're down that side of the screen, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you find out when I post new videos, so you can be among the first to see what's going on, because there's a lot of fun. Sometimes there's some spoilers of events that are coming up or releases that are coming up, so you definitely want to stay on top of these videos. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this with me. I am Stephanie. Have a great day.